Hello, am I audible? Now am I audible?
Hi, Samarth. Yes, you're audible.
Sir, I've been trying from the last 5, 7 minutes. I don't know why I
Yes,
was not
yes. You're audible
audible.
now. Clearly audible.
Okay, great. It's been like 5, 7 minutes for me trying that. Like someone just acknowledges me there. Okay, so cool. I'm just sharing my screen. Please do let me know that is my screen visible to you guys? Is it visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Great, man. Great. Ah, let me just open my OneNote. Okay, so we discussed about very basic concepts of JavaScript as if why was it created and like in 1995 it was created and all. Let me just give it a small recap. Uh, JavaScript was created in 1995 and before that our websites used to be static. Our websites were static before that and were static and Brendan Ike is the person who created this JavaScript language and it is like developed in just 5 days. Like earlier it was quite slow as well as like just to add the interactivity between it, right? So JavaScript basically acts as an interactivity between the user and their websites, like and their web pages, yeah, websites, whatever it is, web pages or websites, whatever, right? Cool. And we discussed about that what JavaScript basically is, right? So let me just show you the help of the diagram, right? So JavaScript is basically the brain of our see. JavaScript is basically the brain. This is the brain of our entire website. So all the interactivities, all the functions, all the I would say like the responsive behavior, not the responsive behavior. It's like all uh, all the brain related stuff, all the interactivity related stuff is done with the help of our JavaScript, right? And like this is the main purpose why JavaScript was added. Like this is the main purpose. This is the main purpose, right? Cool. Okay, so let me give you an example of that. Like if I go to like I would say codepen.io and airplane. Let's find airplane, right? So if you just ignore the code above, and I can see that there is JavaScript written over here. And if I'll start scrolling down, then you can see that this plane is showing some like animation or I would say interactivity kind of thing that it happens because of this scroll event. If I'll stop scrolling my window or stop scrolling my web page, then it basically does not show any kind of change or any sort of animation or I would say any kind of interactivity. But if I start scrolling, this scroll event get triggers, and you can see because of this triggering, this airplane is like showing quite pretty changes as well as like it's a like very pretty animation with that, right? So if I just remove this JavaScript code, then let's see. Then also I guess it's happening. I don't know why, but it's because of JavaScript also. Like many of the things are being written here. So it's basically because of animation as well as the scroll event. Scroll event is basically because of like the event is written in JavaScript, right? So also we can check out for uh, calculator. I guess I gave you the gist of it, but it's okay. Let's see it again to scratch. Uh, responsive calculator. I guess we did for this. Okay, so cool. If I'll like press 8, then yes, after pressing 8, this 8 is being shown over my console window. Let's assume this is my console window, 8 into 9. And if I click the equality button, it will give me 72. But if I'll just remove my JavaScript from here, then if I remove my JavaScript, then I'm clicking on 8 and 9, you can see through the animation, but there is no interactivity which is happening with like there is nothing being written over this side. So the interactivity have been stopped. Why? Because of this JavaScript, right? So this is the basic purpose of JavaScript and why we are using JavaScript, like how it helps us, like basically how it helps us, right? Cool. So let's switch on again here. Like before learning any of the like programming language, right? It's like we need to learn about their primitives also first, right? So every programming languages have their own primitives, and we need to know about them before learning. Like that's the initial phase of learning, right? So the primitives here are basically, I'll just pen it down for you. It's number. Like there is no int and float like in other programming languages. All int, float, decimal, everything is inclusive here inside this number. Second is the boolean. Of course, boolean is present everywhere. You guys all know, like right. And third is the string. We'll see them one by one. No worries. Just for your information, like we have null and we have basically undefined. Right. We'll start from the starting. Like what number is? Uh, Initially, let's do one thing. I'm making a folder. Get here from here. Read of this. Just a second. This has to be the same. One note is there. Okay, so I'm making a lecture 7 here, right? Lecture 7. Inside this lecture 7, I'll be making initially index.html. Right. Inside my index.html, I'll simply no, I'll be making a folder again first, right? Inside my lecture 7. Okay. I'll be making the folder of basic JavaScript, right? Basic JS, and inside basic JS, I will be giving index. Style.css. That is not required. I'm removing style.css. I'm renaming it as let's say app.js. Now, if I want to include a JavaScript file in my in my workspace or in my folder, then I need to make it by any of the name with an extension of .js. The same way we had in I would say the same way we had in HTML. The extension was basically .html. In case of CSS, the extension was .css. And now in the case of JavaScript, the files will be made with an extension of .js, like file extensions. That is quite basic thing which you guys need to know about that, right? .js we'll be using from now. Okay. I'm just writing a basic boilerplate and giving it a heading of, let me increase the size. Yeah, giving it a boilerplate of heading of, let's say, learn Java. Right. I'm just running over at my live server and we'll do some things, right? I'll simply inspect this page. I won't do anything in the HTML part or right now not in the JS file. I'll simply inspect my page and you can see that there are different options available. One of them is the console. So I'll simply click onto my console window, right? Like, is there any doubt till now, like where we need to go and what to do? We just need to inspect that page. Anything could be written in that page and just we need to inspect and go towards the console window, right? Now let's see how can we let's understand what is this console first. Like this, what is this console? What is this console? Right. So okay, the question is this: what is this console? Right. See, this console is basically present inside our browser. Of course, this is present inside the browser. Present inside browser, and this is basically our REPL. REPL. Like what is REPL and what REPL stands for? Let's see here. This is important for you to understand. Like many developers don't know this thing. So let's just get the glimpse of it. See, REPL basically stands for read, evaluate, print, and loop. Right. Read, evaluate, print, and loop. Let's see how this like turned out to be this way. Okay, so it is like showing me a cursor there that okay, enter something in me. If I'll write 1 + 2, it I gave it a read. Like I just gave it a read, that read one right now. This is the read part, right? If I enter plus and 2, now after reading, it evaluates the stuff. It is not yet printed 3, but it is giving me a suggestion 3, right? It is just giving me a suggestion because I've not hit the enter button yet. If I want to increase more numbers, then I can see, okay, I'm giving it a read, and it is automatically evaluating or giving me a suggestion, okay, after this evaluation, this could be the possible answer. Once I'll hit the enter button, then it prints the answer there, right? 7 is being printed now. Now what is loop? Loop is like, it is again asking me for the, like, for the next output, or sorry, for the next input stuff which I need to enter, right? If I want to give it like 18. So I gave it a read of numbers. I automatically got the evaluation from inside. Then if I press the enter button, it will be printing my answer. And after that, it will again ask me for different inputs, right? So that's why it is read, evaluate, print, and loop. So this is basically the basic understanding of what our REPL is, right? Read, evaluate, print, and loop. So this is important. Just keep this in your mind. What is our console? Our console is a REPL, and REPL stands for these things. REPL stands for these things. Okay, cool. So now let's go to our give this page. I'll simply clear this off. Right. So I need to check like what numbers are right. So we have a method in it, like type of, like the same way we have uh, like in different, we must be having in different programming languages, just in order to know about the data type of that string, of that particular stuff, right? So similarly, we have type of method wherein we can add the value, or wherein we can add our content, and it will let us know about what type of content you have been given to it, right? If I'll simply write type of 2 and I'll press enter, then it is giving me that yes, I'm of a type number. Like this is the first primitive which we are going to learn about, right? First primitive which we are going to learn about, we are learning about numbers, right? Now we'll get to know that what data type is it of, is our value of, and we simply use the keyword or a method type of, and then value, like not in this curly brace, not in this inverted commas or whatever it is. We'll simply just write the type. Yeah, is anyone saying something? Okay. So I'll simply write this method type of, and I'll be writing the value of which I want to evaluate, right? This is the value over which I want to make this evaluation done. Okay. So type of 2, let's assume I want to check for something else now. I want to check for like, is 2.2 also a number? Yes, 2.2 also a number. Is my negative 2.2 is a number? Then yes, negative 2.2 is a number. If my, let's say, type of, I would say I would go for what is 0 by 100, like 0 by 100, right? Not 0 by 100 right now. Let's make it 100 by 0, right? I'm giving it 100 by 0, and it is giving me a value of NaN. But initially, we all learned about any number divided by, like any number, any random number divided by 0 is like infinite, right? Any number divided by 0 is infinite, like we cannot divide any number with 0, right? But this JavaScript, or I would say this JavaScript engine is such beautifully written that it does not give like any of the false values, or it does not break the code. You can, like, it's really hard to break the code. Breaking code in JavaScript or programming languages which are like very similar to JavaScript are like very, very difficult. We cannot break the code. So it is like so beautifully handled. Like even if you write any of the number and you divide it by 0, rather than giving it an infinity, it will give it NaN. Now what is this NaN? NaN stands for not a number. It simply says that this thing is not a number, right? This thing is not a number. Okay. Then what this not a number is? If I'll simply write the type of NaN. Let's see what NaN stands for. This NaN is also kind of like it's also enclosed inside the data type of number only, right? So till now we got to know that inside my number primitive, I have like I would say I have integer numbers, I have decimal numbers, I have, I would say decimal floating, whatever you say, and I have like NaN. I have negative numbers as well. Okay, I've done till now. Let's see ahead. If I'll go for, let's say, minus of this 100, then it'll again show me NaN. Like if I go for type of, I would say 0 by 0, right? 0 by 0. then this is also not a number, right? Dividing 0 by 0 is also not a number, right? So this infinite stuff and this 0 by 0 is also considered to be a part of NaN only, right? This NaN is for 0 by 0 as well, and this is for any number by 0 as well, whether it be positive or negative, hardly matters. Or if you just want to remember this, just remember it by the way, if positive infinite, negative infinite are there, then also they are considered to be a part of not a number, right? Simple about that. And I guess decimal are there, and is there negative, positive, any numbers, positive, negative. And I guess this is enough. These are the categories under which the number is enclosed. Like number is the parent of all these different kind of I would say values for us, right? So what basically happens is like I just told you about breaking code and getting errors is like very difficult in JavaScript. Like getting errors is very difficult. It's such pretty like such beautifully written that getting errors is like next to difficult, next to impossible thing in JavaScript is next to impossible, right? So if you are getting errors in JavaScript, not because of the functionality part, that is something which is logic based, but getting a error because of like some basic stuff in JavaScript is like next to impossible. So uh, you can try like doing mistakes, but it won't happen much, right? Okay, so let's come to a different topic now. Now the same thing, but with a simple extra knowledge of how we can evaluate stuff, right? Initially, we used to have board mass, right? But here we don't follow board mass. We simply follows the PEMDAS rule. It's PEMDAS, wherein this PEMDAS. Let's all see what all these words or like character stands for. This basically P stands for the parenthesis. Parenthesis. This E starts for the exponential. Exponentials, right? M starts for multiplication. We all know that multiplication, division, and then addition. Along with that, subtraction, right? Along with the subtraction part, right? So let's give it a basic vision of it. Okay, so let's do one thing. I'm bringing up my parenthesis first, then I'll be adding up with let's say any random numbers, and if I will use me like this way, and let's assume I'm doing minus of. I'm just doing any random number, right? Inside my parenthesis, I would say I am multiplying two numbers, 2 into 4, and I guess this is enough, right? So if we just start evaluating according, like, no, let's not see the answer. If we start evaluating according to the PEMDAS rule, so basically this 8 will be evaluated first, and then this 6. So basically 8, right? And let me just copy this term according to PEMDAS, right? Let me just copy this term. Sorry, you cannot paste the content for the right. Right. So according to the PEMDAS rule, initially this will be tackled. Let's see. Okay, 8 plus 12 plus 12 by 3 minus 6. This is basically the evaluation after first solving the parenthesis. Okay, now this division part will take place. This is 4, right? So then 8 plus 12 plus 4 minus 6. Let's say then it's 20 minus 4 minus 6. It's not 20, is it 20? Oh, sorry, plus. This is plus. Really sorry. This is plus. Plus 4 minus 6, it's basically 24 minus 6, and it's 18. Then let's see, is 18 our evaluation, is the part of our evaluation? Then yes, 18 is being printed over here. Then if we also like go for power thing, like this power is like getting two asterisk signs together. And if I'll go with the power, then I'll simply add the number with any random number, and then I'll use my next parameter, negative of 3 divided by, I would say, 3 only, right? Then how will the evaluation be taking place in this case? Let us copy this as well. These two examples are, I guess, more than sufficient just to understand things. Okay, right. So according to PEMDAS rule, what is exponential? Sorry, what is the most prioritized? Parenthesis and then exponential. This is part of our exponential function, right? So this power function will be evaluated first. Okay, so then 2 power 4 is equal to 16. The 16 will be evaluated. Then after this step is evaluated, then we are having this stage. After this stage, this will be evaluated. So 16 plus 23 minus of 1, right? Then 16 plus, I would say 23 stands for 39. That's 39 minus 1, and the answer should be equal to 38. Let's see, is it showing as 38? Let me enter. Yes, 38 is the answer which is being shown, right? So we need to check according to the PEMDAS rule in our JavaScript, right? So just keep that in your mind that this PEMDAS rule is important. Uh, any doubts still here? Anything which is not understandable or anything which is not clear? Things are clear till now? Just acknowledge in the chat box, please, here. This PEMDAS rule is not a number. This number as a primitive data type for JavaScript. Like, is it clear for you guys? What is char? Char is not a data type, like not a primitive data type in our JavaScript. It's string instead of char. See, I've given you the gist of data types, right? Char is not a part of it. Char, I would say, is a subset of it, but like string will be including characters values, but it's not a primitive data type.
Sir?
Yes. Yes.
So I have a doubt, sir. Why is it showing the non-recurring, non-terminating numbers as NaN?
See,
Let's say we divide.
it's
Yeah.
basically written in that way only. Like if you will divide any number with 0, like so it should have been given you infinity, right? I would say like let's assume any random number. I'm taking any random number. If I'll be dividing it as 0, like it is giving me infinite. But this type of infinite, let's see this type of infinite. Type of infinity, it is also a part of number. I just wrote it here, I guess. This negative infinite and positive infinite, these are also like considered to be inside our NaN number. So this is written in such a way that you cannot evaluate with infinity, right? You cannot perform evaluation with infinity, but you can like evaluate it using NaN, right? So any operation with NaN, like let's say this is I am having a NaN number with me, then any operation with it, any random operation with it, will definitely lead me out to an answer with NaN. So this is how it is written. Like it is being like treated inside this number category.
Excuse me, sir.
Here,
Sir,
Excuse me,
let's say if we divide 20 by 3, the result will be 3.333. So it's not the infinity. Yeah, it's sorry, 6.666.
so like you want to say that why is it just showing up to some decimal values, right?
No, but let's say we do the type of a 20 divided by 3, it will show NaN.
Type of 20 divided by 3. You are saying this. It's
Yeah,
showing me number. It's not showing me NaN. Like it could be a part of NaN because I won't say it will be a part of NaN because if you just divide in the above example, let's see, 20 by 3 is shown here. Then it is giving me some value. I don't care that why is it giving 7 at the end. There is some functionality, okay? After I would say 10 decimal places, just round it off using that math.round function. Don't like think over it right now. Round it off after having some particular number of values so that this could be evaluated by getting the answers initially, right? So the language is written in such a way. You cannot say that why there are
Excuse
less
me, sir.
things there. Yes, yes.
Sir, in Pandas rule, multiplication came first before division. So in case of 2 star 4 divided by and 2 star 4, answer should be 1, but it does not.
2 star 4, like you want to give me example 8. I'm coming again.
Yes.
Now tell me your equation.
2 star 4 divided by 2 star 4.
2 star 4 divided
So
by
in case of Pandas rule, multiplication come first. So in this case, it should be 1. But
2 star 4 multiplication came first, right? It should be 1.
so why it is following Bodmas rule means?
Just a second, let me also check it. Swear. So it may be PEDMAS rule. I'm sorry that it could have been like in a
Okay, sir.
wrong way. This is PEDMAS rule. I'm really sorry. Good observation, really, really good observation. Either I am also confused. It have to be PEDMAS rule, not PEMDAS. Right. Just correct it this way. That division is, of course, like we all know that in the BODMAS also division came first. I don't know how I made this mistake, but it's like good to observe that you guys are paying attention with this. Like PEDMAS is the rule, not PEMDAS. Do I need to like write it again, or you guys are able to understand this if I'll just write it with a crossover?
Okay, sir. It's understood.
Understood. Okay, so clear. So it's PEMDAS, not PEMDAS. Again, like division, like basic things are same. The first two things are parentheses as well as the exponential part, right? Good observation and nice work. What was your name?
Sir Samir.
Samir. Great, Samir. Thank you.
Sir.
Mohit, Anisha, right? We are telling you.
Yes. So let's say we remove the brackets from type of 20 divided by 3 and we remove the brackets.
Type of 20 divided by 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Wait, if I'll do a equation of type of 20 multiply by 3. See, this is also showing me like NaN right now, but 20 multiplied by 3 is a number, right? It's 16. So it is because of that parenthesis stuff. You need to evaluate that expression first. First, it will be evaluated. Then only you can compare the type of it, right?
All right.
Now is it
Thank you.
clear?
Yeah.
Okay, then, sir, please let's. Yeah, I'm not able to see anyone in the lobby from my side. So I guess Aditya sir will be.
Actually,
Yeah,
the
I'm
lobby
just.
is open for all, so there's no scope for admitting here.
So I think Aditya Mishra, you need to let your friends know that is it like you guys, if you guys are waiting for there, then it has to be like some other way to
Actually,
enter. Right?
I guess some people are waiting in the wrong meeting. That might be the case.
Possible, sir, possible. Sir, it is PEMDAS only. M and D have same priorities. We start from left there. Okay, so it can be anything. If you use divide first or if you multiply first, like let us just Google it out, right? Is it PEMDAS rule in JavaScript? Let us see it here, right? Or I can go for, I guess, MDN as well. Here, it should have been there. Right. Operator precedence. So let us all try to see it here. Is there any example which is being given to us? This is the evaluation. Here is the multiplication one. There's no as such expression which is there. We can like find it in our way only, right? Let us go again back to the document and let us see it here, right? Let me just clear the console. Like clear the console. Like let's see. Initially, I'll be dividing it first, multiplying it then, and I'll using it other way around. Like let us divide 3 divided by 3, then multiplying by 3 divided by 3. So initially, it should have been giving me 1 multiply by 1, that is 1. Right. Let me make it a little change number, right? Let me make it change number. So it is giving me evaluation of this first, then multiplication of the second number, right? This, and this 2 multiplied by 3, right? 4 is the answer. But if I'll do the other way around, if I multiply with 3, dividing it, then again multiplying it by 3, right? Then this is basically right now giving me 18. 18 divided by 18, right? So I don't think so. It is like showing the way you said, what's your name? Kushagra Gupta.
So it is showing correctly, sir. 18 divided by 6 and then multiplied by 3, no? 6 into 3, 18. 18 divided by 6, 3. 3 into 3, 9.
Wait. We have calculated 18 first. 18 divided by 6. That is, oh, right. Exactly right. It is moving from left to right. Cool. Aditya, cool, right. So I guess we need to change it again. There is no change in the rule. They both are having the same priority. You can use it anywhere around. And it's like PEMDAS only. It's just you just have to keep one thing in mind that left to right is the priority, right? Left to right is the priority. Left to right is the priority. And of course, parentheses, if parentheses are included, then of course it will be taking part according to that, right? Okay, so PEMDAS is the rule. Baki we can Google it easily and we'll see it further, right? Okay, let's switch on to our next data type. That is string. Should I do it down again? I'll just make it a line, right? This was an example. Right. String. Okay, so there is no character data type, like no character primitive data type in it. Like collection of characters, I would say, is string. Like, collection of characters, just for understanding, collection of characters. is basically string, like, right? So if I'll go for like, if I'll make it hello, if I'll make it A, if I'll make it any number Z, if I'll make it 1, 2, 3 inside my this, all these are part of my string. Let us see how. Again, if I'll clear this and see, okay, I want to check the type of what? I want to check the type of my let's say, now right, it is showing me string. Okay, if I'll just remove everything and write my A inside it, right? String. And if I give it an empty string also, then it's also giving me a type of string, right? And now if I want to change my number, any of the number to string, what I'll do is I'll simply write the number inside my single inverted comma or, or single inverted colons or double inverted colons, whatever they are. So I'll simply give it an enter, and then this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like similarly in this way, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will also be turning out itself into a string rather than changing it into a number, right? Okay, so now what I want is I want this number of mine is there, which is showing me a type of string. I don't want it to be string. I want it to again act like int itself, right? So I do have a function. I do have a method with me that is parse int. Parse int. Let us do one thing. Let's save that number first, right? Just for example, don't follow me right now. Just understand what the things are going like. I'm saving it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is me. There is some variable Sam which is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a value, right? If I'll just enter the value of Sam, then it is giving me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Let's do one thing. Let's make it side by side. I'm having a variable bucket, namely Sam, and in which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is there, but in string format, right? Now I don't want it to be a part of string format. What I'll do, I want to change it in I would say some other value, right? Then what I'll do, I have a method called parse int. I'll simply enter parse int and give the value of which I want to change the value, right? Give the variable or give the direct value. You can use it anyway, just to make you understand I'm doing this way, right? Now this parse int of Sam will give me, I need to save it somewhere, right? I'll save it like, let's say Sam2. Let's Sam2 is equal to this, right? Okay, so if I just enter my Sam2, then it's giving me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I check for the type of Sam2, right, then it's giving me a number, right? But again, if I check the type of Sam, right, it is giving me string, right? So this is how we can basically convert my string part into, like, if I have a number which is present inside the string and I can change or extract it out in that way, right? Now, like the similar way, I have parse int. I can also have parse float, right? Like if, for example, just for
Sir,
the
this
instance,
let is a keyword or what?
ignore it right now, but giving you a small example, like what is it? The way you used to declare it like int in C++, just for example, just ignore it if you don't know C++, int name of your variable is equal to, let's say you give it a value, right? So this you need declare that, okay, what data type is your bucket of, right? So similarly, let is how we declare our let and cons. There are two newer ways. We have var as well. So let is how you declare your bucket or how you make a bucket, right? To store the values inside it. So we don't have like anything like data types inside our like we don't declare our variables using data types. We just declare it using either let, const, or var. Var is like an older way of doing declaration. These are like ECMAScript 6 syntax. This came because of ECMAScript 6. Sorry, this is like a tongue twister for me. ECMAScript 6 documentation. So this is just like declaring it, right? Just ignore it. I'll let you know. This was just for making you understand, right? So the same way, if I want to, like, let's say I have a number %, again, I'm giving it a value of, I would say 3.235 something, right? But ultimately it is giving me something like only 3 and the decimal places are ignored. But I want the decimal places as well. Let's assume this would have been a string. This would have been a string. So I'm still getting a 3 only, but I want the float values, right? So what I'll do is I'll simply parse the float value instead of the string thing, right? I'll simply pass the float value. Then yes, I'm getting this entire like entire number with the decimals with me, like with the answer itself. Okay, so like I am talking about string right now. So this could also be a possibility in a string, that if I can enter this ABCD, right? Anything I can be a part of string. If I'll enter, then also it is giving me only the number part which is there present in my initials, right? But it is only possible when my string is starting from a number. But if my string is not starting from a number, it is starting from any of the string, or if even if it is ending with the string, then ending with a number, then hardly matters. It will not give me the answer, because of course he or she, let's assume the compiler is not able to see that okay, this string is like having any sort of number value in it, because it is not going deep inside. It is just checking from the forward position. Let's say this was my number, right? Let me just remove some stuff, right? It will not recognize it this way because it is starting from a string. But if I start this number from, let's assume, any of the number value, right, then it will get all the numbers before the encountering of the first character, right? All the numbers before the encountering of first character, right? Any special character I can also write, or in between I can also write, but it will not encounter it. It will simply throw me an answer which it encounters till the first character is like visible to it. So yeah. I have parseInt, wherein I can get my integer values from anything, get integer values from, let's say, from get integer values, and let's assume I have parse float. This says me get floating values. Like these two methods are already pre-written, so you just need to know about their functionality, and this is how they are being used till now, right? So there is like one more data type with us, or let's say, let's do one thing. Let's like discuss about this let, var, and const first, because this could be confusing for you guys, right? So let's discuss about this first. Uh, right. The way we used to, like, I generally in any of the programming language, what you guys did was you declared a bucket. This is sort of a bucket or a label, anything, wherein you like put different values. It could be 100,000, any number, or it is like you could have saved the values of summer. You could have saved the value of, like, not bool, that is a data type. You could have saved the value of true or false, right? This is basically you guys did in your different programming languages. What you did here was you declared a string here only, and let's assume you are saving it like string s is equal to summer. This is how you do it, I guess, right? Summer, and in it, this is like a integer value. So you said int number is equal to that number itself, right? And this is like bool, let's say bool bucket is equal to true. This is how you generally declare things in your different programming languages, right? But this is not in the case of JavaScript. In JavaScript, you simply use either let or const or variable, right? Either let or const or variable. Let's see it with an example itself now. Let me clear my console. Let me do one thing. Let me paste this thing first. This will be easier for you to like remember. If I'm just copying it from here, pasting it to my, let's say, JavaScript only, and I'm commenting each one of them. I'm commenting each one of them, right? Just a second, guys. Okay, cool. So I've just copy pasted the code from my console window towards my app.js. We'll be like writing the code here here also, but just for like making it a little faster or understanding your console, then that's why we are doing it here, right? Like any doubt till now, like some operators also have right to left associative. That associativity things you need to like see it from the Google. Like simply go to MDN and check out different stuff. Either MD and W3 schools, you can see it from there. But basically, those mostly operations you'll be doing, like they are having most priority from left to right, right? So this is okay. You guys can see it. But like nobody will ask you like what is the output of this equation. That was just for telling you about the rule. Of course, you need to make functions, but functions may these evaluation stuff does not happen much, right? Last one is the numerator. Last one is the numerator. I not getting your point, numerator wala. Okay. No doubt, sir. Okay, cool. Right. So, okay, we were about to declare things, right? Let's assume we go to our, let's say, any of the YouTube channel, YouTube coding blogs. Right. This is basically our coding blocks YouTube channel. So, if I just start any of the, if I start any of my video, then what I can see. Okay, so this is something which is like a string part, which is here, like a string, how strings are being written. This is something a number. 853 is a number. This is like a Boolean data type. Oh, sorry, a number data type here. This like and dislike, it can be of a Boolean that if I've clicked it once, then the Boolean is turning out to be true. And if I click it again, the Boolean is turning out to be false, right? This is how we do it. And again, this is the string part. Different stuff. I guess most things are number, string, and Boolean only right now here. Right? This is the toggle, but like bool. This is the Boolean string. Like if I have subscribed it, if I click on it, then it will be unsubscribed. It will be something like toggle, right? This is also true, false, like Boolean category, right? So this 117K subscribers is also a number part, right? So let's see. Let's try to make it in our way only. Like how we can do it. We have likes, right? So we can do it. How we do it? Simply, I want to declare my bucket. What is the name of my bucket? I'm declaring it using let right now. Just let. I want a likes bucket with me. Okay, I have a likes bucket. Then how will I assign value to it? Simply, I'll give it a like. Let's assume a likes of 99. Right. If I'll just see the value of 99 likes, then it will give me 99. Like now, I want to like increment the function. Right. I want to increment my likes value. Then what I'll do? I'll simply say likes plus 1, which is ultimately equal to likes only, right? This right will be operation. So then if I'll again look for the likes, then it is now turning out to be one more than the previous value by because I've done this I've done the operation over it. I've done this like changing the value. I've changed the value in it. Okay, so we can also check for I would say rupee is equal to 78 point some number, like 78.77 right now. If I check for rupee, then it is giving me 78.66. Okay. And if I want to do an equation of rupee plus, let's say, rupee plus likes, I can do it rupee plus likes as well, right? So it is turning out to be like giving me, I'm taking it inside an answer. Let answer bucket is equal to do the evaluation and tell me the answer, right? If I go for answers, then it is giving me 78 plus 100 is 178.67. This is giving an approximate answer. This is like written inside its browser that, okay, they give the answer in this tentative if it is possible, right? So this was the same thing which was happening in 20 divided by 3. It was giving me, I guess, 10 12 times 6. And then last termination was of 7, right? So this is the functionality of the browser, JavaScript browser, JavaScript engine. So this is written inside the engine. We are not responsible for this, right? So this is how we generally declare things. This is how we make our buckets wherein we need to store the values, right? The first way would be using it a let, right? And make sure let is allowing you to change values. Let is allowing me to change values, right? I've changed the value of likes up here. I've changed the value of not the rupee. I've not changed rupee, but I've changed the value of likes, right? Then it means that yes, it is allowing me to change the value from one from one bucket, right? From one bucket, I can change the values. Okay, allowing me to change values. Right. Let's check it out for the const, right? Let's check it out for the const. Let's do one thing. I'll make it a const. Let's say again, I'm making it for likes only, right? I want to increment my likes. There are again 99 likes, right? Const 98 likes. Okay, likes has already been defined. I have to change the name nomenclature. I'm simply saying likes with double S. Then yes, it is accepting it. If I go for likes, then yes, I'm getting LIKESS as my 99. So let's do one thing. I'll just increment the value of likes with, I guess, 1. I can increment it by 1. If I'll enter, now it is saying that assignment to constant variable. just remember one thing, that this const we can use for declaration part only. Like this is also for declaration part. Everything here is for declaration part, but const is just for declaration and assigning value. You cannot update the value. This updation thing inside const is not possible. Updation of values is not possible. Like updation of values or updation of any of the like data type which you are giving inside it is not possible in this. It is only for declaration and assigning values, right? Declaration, comma, assigning values. You can use it anywhere. Of course, you can use it anywhere. Let's say if I still have this likes as my 99, and if I want to add my likes with my likes, then it is like 199, 100 plus 99, right? It's giving me 199. So I'm just copying this stuff again. I'll copy it and paste it in your let and const declaration, and I'll pasting it here. I'll simply comment it. This is just for your reference in case you guys are a little confused while practicing on your own. And what was this? This was about number data type. Number data type, number primitive, I would say, not data type. Giving data type is the wrong word. Number primitive and parts int, parts float. Parts int, parts float, right? Parts int, parts float. Cool. Okay, so we can assign any value like using our let thing, right? If I just clear my console window, right? I can also say like let my let's say my name, like my name can be equal to any of the string. My name is Samarth, right? And if I go for the name part, then yes, I'm getting this bucket as well, this name bucket as well, using my name thing. Like okay, let us do one thing. Let me show you a small thing. Like again, I have to make a first name. I'm making a bucket of first name, which is equal to Samarth. Okay, I'm making a bucket of, I would say, second name. Second name, and I'm giving it my surname, right? Now, if I want to like add up both the names of mine together, then what I can do is I'll simply say let name, just name, is equal to, I'll simply use this first name as my data type, plus this plus operation will be there, and my second name is there, right? If I'll give it an enter and I'll ask for the value of name, then see this Samarth Vora is inclusive of both the first names as well as my second name. Why? Because I've been giving the variables there, and this positive, this plus sign which is being there, that this basically shows okay, you can concatenate the string. This is basically concatenation, right? If I'll like copy it from here. I'll just simply save it again. I say that string concatenation is there. And I can give it this way. Or I need to explain you two small things, and we can try it with another way as well. The next thing which I need to tell you about is that nomenclature, that how you can give names of your bucket, right? Nomenclature. Ignore the spellings if they are wrong. See, nomenclature, it's again like same as that of other programming languages, that you cannot start with any of the number. You have numbers in it. You can have underscore. You can have, let's make and see things, right? It is better for all, right? Let me just try to create any of the bucket with let's say name 123. Like it is creating something, like it is not throwing an error, it is creating a bucket, right? Now, but if I'll start with like 123 name, then it is throwing an error that you cannot start with your like cannot start your name of a bucket using the numbers with it. Okay, I don't want to start with numbers. Let's say I want to start it with any of the special characters. Then again, it is showing me that I cannot use special character here. Okay, I don't want to use special character in front. I want to use the like special character towards the last. Then again, this using of special characters is not possible in your nomenclature stuff. So you cannot use special characters here. Okay, so what I can do is now I want, okay, I want to give it a underscore thing. Let's see underscore works or not. Yes, underscore works. But what if I start my nomenclature name with underscore? then yes, it is also possible. But I cannot just start with 12 underscore name this. Oh, sorry, I have to go to let first, right? I have to go to let first. Yeah, this is not possible. But after underscore, can I use 12 instead of removing it starting? Then yes, I can start my nomenclature with underscore. I can start my nomenclature with any of the string, but I cannot start it with any of the numbers. But yes, inclusion of number is possible in our nomenclature. So we can use it anyways, right? So if we just generalize the rules, then numbers are there. Underscore, I would just write it here. Underscore is there. We can use underscore, and the string part is there here. String part is there, but make sure you cannot start with this. Cannot start name of your bucket. Your let's say name of a bucket with number. Right, just keep this in mind. Right, you cannot start with number, but you can include it anywhere inside your nomenclature. Right. So if I want to give it one more try, using cons, like we can do it, right? Using cons, then just a second. Const. Ah, right. Const, I would say, let me make it my name of a bucket as let. Like, let's see, is let possible? Then see, of course, I cannot make or I cannot declare uh, a const bucket with the same, I would say, keywords which are already present, right? So let's make it the other way around. I want to make my uh, let bucket with the name of const, then again it is not possible. So you cannot use keywords, right? So this is, you need to remember, you can't use keywords. If you want to check the list of keywords, then you can check it out over the browser. You can't use keywords, right? For declaration bucket, for declaration of buckets. Cannot use keywords for declaration of buckets. Right. Keep this in mind as well. And I guess this is about nomenclature. Now, one more thing which is very important is string template literals. It's a very small topic, but important for you to know. String template literals. Or you can simply say it at literal, so it's understandable, right? So what is this string template literals? So if you just see in your keyboard, uh, the button which is just next to your one is your string template literal. So let us first see how we do it and what we do with it, right? So let me just clear this stuff first. So this is the sign of your string template literal, right? You can also use it as a single inverted comma, like I'm writing string है ये इसे literal समझो and मानो. Writing any random stuff, right? This is a string and you have to understand it like literal, right? So if I'll press it enter, then it is giving me the same functionality as that of the string which I used to write earlier, right? So this is okay. This is how we can make use of the string template literal. Also, let's assume I want to like again want to see my name. Like let's say my first name, F name is equal to, is there anyone in the chat? I'll use their name. Like I'm using Abhishek Goswami, right? I'll be using Abhishek Goswami. Sorry if your spellings are wrong. Abhishek, Abhishek. Right. I'm using my first name as Abhishek and my second name as I would say Goswami. Right. But now I want to like include both the names in my one name, and I don't want to use this and operator. Sorry, this concatenation operator, this plus operator. Then what I'll do is I'll simply go for let name. I'll just save it is equal to, I'll be entering my string template literals, right? Again, this is next to your numeric one. Just simply press it and it will be like a little tilted single inverted comma. So let's see what happens. I would say my full name is, what is my full name? Now I need to write my first F name, then giving it a space and then writing a second name. Then how will I do it? I'll simply use this dollar and double inverted comma, or double, sorry, curly braces. Really sorry. My dollar and the curly braces. Inside this curly brace, I'll simply write my F name, right? I'll simply write my F name, giving it a space, first name, and then similarly, I'll again do the same way if I want to get the value of my second name. So I'll give it a second name, and my full name is this, and I am uh, teaching. Okay, I'm writing any random stuff. Let's see. If I'll check out for the name, then see, it is showing me my name is Abhishek Goswami. It takes the value from this above F name and S name. How it takes the value, you just simply need to give it a dollar sign along with the curly braces, and it will definitely take the values if they are present. Let's assume they are not present. Let's say I am also like writing it a wrong way, like I'm writing it names. Then see. If I'll just go and enter there, then it is giving me that this names is not defined. So it is not able to find this names like names variable anywhere. So it gave me an error, right? So this is basically string template literals. So you should be like aware of both the string template literals as well as like I'm just giving it example this way, my name, so that it's easy for you to understand. My name is, let's say, dollar, curly braces, and I would say F name, not using S name. This is just for example how you do it. Right? This is the name of the variable which you declared, variable name, variable which you declared, right? So this is how we can do it, and it is like little tilted, right? Make sure this is tilted, then only it will like perform this dollar curly braces functionality, right? So this is about string template literals, and let's do one thing. Let's. I hope these two things are clear to everyone. Right? These two things are clear. Right. These are basic things, but important for you to know, right? So is that clear? Everyone is clear with it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like others can also acknowledge in the chat box where I would love to know that. Easy and clear? Okay, great. Let's do one thing. Let's take a break of like 3-4 minutes. I'll just have a sip of water and tea. Then we'll start back in like 2-3 minutes. Cool. Just a break of 2-3 minutes, and then we'll be starting again. That time I'm just pasting off your this stuff so that this does not go anywhere. I guess I am missing out sometimes and adding things. This is my string template rules, and pasting it this way. So, right. Okay, yeah, I hope so. We can join back. So we are done with this string template literals. Now let's see about Boolean. Right, we're done with strings and numbers only. Now we'll be learning about Boolean, right? Uh, like this is very obvious thing. Boolean thing is like consisting of two things, right? Either a true value or a false value. I don't think so. There is much of it to explain, but it will be just looking at with an example, like type of. Let's say I'm giving it a type of true. This true is Boolean. If I'll go with false, then again it's Boolean. Sorry, spelling is wrong. Again, it's a Boolean value, and that's how we can do it, right? So we can make it like inside a variable. Let's say I'm making it a name of bucket, and I'll be writing value of true in it. Now, if I check the type of bucket, then it's giving me like it's a Boolean value, right? It's consisting itself of true. If I give it a short, then yes, it's true. Like so, I guess Boolean is not something which needs to be like given a like good definition. So I guess it's self-understandable. Okay, so now let's not waste time with Boolean. Let's go on with our undefined. Like what is undefined? Let's see. What is undefined? See, undefined. I'll give it a two definition. Right, undefined is basically a special placeholder. I'll say it a special placeholder. Right, undefined is basically a special placeholder, or I would say that when you declare a you declare any variable, like any variable for that matter, you declare any variable, and you does not you do not initialize it with any of the value to it. You don't give any value to it, right? You declare any variable and do not provide it with any of the value. Provide it with any of the value. Right. Then this undefined has been like then this place is empty, right? This value place is empty. Then our JavaScript engine, what it does is like assigns this undefined, that is special placeholder, this undefined, assign this undefined value to that I would say bucket or to that variable, right? Variable slash bucket. This is self-understandable, but we'll see it with an example. Let's see. Okay. Now if I have copying it again, pasting it. What I'll do is I'll simply make a variable. Let name, and I'll not give it any of the value. I'll not assign it with any of the value. I'll just simply do it that way. Now, if I'll just search for the name, then what is it showing me? It is showing me a value of undefined. I created a variable. I didn't assign any of the value to it. I didn't assign anything to it. So by default, my JavaScript engine, what it does, it took that undefined special placeholder and assigned that undefined value towards my variable which is being defined, right? So this is basically the work of this is basically undefined data type, and this is how it generally occurs. Now, if I like try it with const as well, like const, let's say happy, I'll say like just happy. If I'll just place enter, then const happy cannot be done. Why? Because this missing initialization is you cannot declare const with like without assigning it a value, right? Once let's assume what's this value is not assigned, then you cannot reinitialize the value, right? You cannot give it a value or we cannot change the value. So that's why you need to declare the value of const at the same time when you make the bucket, right? So it has to be always this way, right? It always has to be this way. Now I can see happy is there, but I cannot do it like const G like any Ghana type thing. So it is saying that missing initializer in the const declaration. So you need to declare via const data, like you need to declare using const, but you have to give it a value at the same time, but it is not necessary for the let case, right? So make sure always keep this in mind. Always keep this in mind, right? Undefined, right? Undefined. So this was the example of undefined. Always make sure you cannot do it with let till it is possible, but you can't do it with const. Const, you need to define value every time. Need to initialize value, I would say. Initialize value at the time of declaration. At the time of declaration. Okay, so this was basic clear. Now let's see about null. What my fifth data type is about. Null. Okay, so again we'll go to the console window first. Did I just pasted it? I'm not sure. Yeah, I pasted it. Null. So let's do one thing. I'll again declare my value. Let's say I am giving a bank account. Bank account money. Bank account money. Now, if I don't wanna write any of the value inside my this variable bank account money, so I'll simply declare it with a null. Then if I'll go and check it out that what this value is enclosing or having it inside it, then let's see, then it is showing me a value of null. So it is basically done when you don't want to give any of the value to a variable. Let's assume we can take it that way, like two developers are working together and one of them is having a grudge with the other person. Like this is just for example for fun stuff. The one of the developer is not happy with the other one and he or she wants to take grudge or take revenge. So what they can do is they know that okay, this person generally use these words for declaration of stuff, right? So he'll declare it with the const, right? Let's say he'll declare it with the const, I would say const name equal to null, right? So that person cannot change the value of this const, right? This name be equal to name plus one, like name can be equal to 99 now, let's say, right? So this cannot be again given the value, right? Again cannot be reused. So that developer will do one thing, that developer will take 1 hour and do all the variables in such a way. And of course, that second developer will be like having issues in giving the name of the, like giving the different nomenclature to their variables, right? This was just for fun example, never do it. So this was basically about null, that what null stands for, how is it used, right? So I guess we are done with all the basic primitive data types, right? Of course, you have to go to MDN, of course. Data types in JS MDN, JavaScript data types. So here it will show you about Boolean, null, undefined numbers, and all, right? So just go and give it a read. Almost things are basically covered. See, infinite, negative, and positive infinite, right? So positive infinite is also a thing, and negative infinite is also a thing. Make sure, and they both are like lying inside this number primitive only, right? So give it a thought, give it a read, and then you are, I guess, good to go with the nomenclature of it. Okay. Now let's do one thing. Let's make one more folder. I'll be making this folder as, I would say, methods with string. We have methods as well in our string part. Let's do it that way. Text.html and again app.js. Make sure this extension has to be JS whenever you are using your JavaScript files. Oh, I didn't add my JavaScript file in the last case, right? I guess forgot to add my JavaScript file because you're not doing anything, right? So how you add JavaScript files? Let's see it here. You will simply write scr and you will be like going towards the lower one this way in the suggestion. You'll simply give it a click. And now the same way you need to give the relative source. My relative source is app.js. JS. So I'll write it this way, and let's assume I'm everything is commented here, right? So let's assume I'm saying let name is equal to, I'll say Samarth, and I'm saving it, I'm saving it, and I'm again opening my console window. Let's see, will it happen here? Like if I go my console and if I write name, then what will be given? Yeah, Samarth will be given. I have not declared anything yet. Like if I'm just clicking here, nothing is there. If I'll go for Samarth name, it'll give me Samarth. But if I go for any random number instead of name, then it is giving me like it'll throw an error that name is not defined, right? So this is how you can attach your app.js file or any of the JavaScript file here, right? So cool. We are on methods, right? We are on methods. So we are learning about methods in string, right? Okay. So let's do one thing. Now we'll make it in a JavaScript file so that it's easier for you to know and understand, right? Okay, I'm going in there. Let's do one thing. I'm creating a string. How can I create a string? I'll simply use the variable let. Let my string name is like, let's say S is the name of my string. I'm giving it a string of, I'm saying Samarth. And let's say Nagarro. I'm just not obsessed with my name. It's okay. I'm giving it a name of Nagarro, right? Now I want this string to perform some methods, right? So initially, how many like there are the methods inside my null is like I gave you example. Just let just a second. I'm just helping you out just by writing this small term, right? So now we are learning about string methods, for different methods of string. So basically, these are categorized into two categories. Like one is like there is a destructive method. We can have destructive method or destructive method. It's like non-destructive method, right? The name itself shows that okay, destructive means that there is a change that it can harm or it can change the entire string. Like these are categorized in destructive, non-destructive. Destructive is like permanent change. Just for your reference, it's like permanent change, and this non-destructive is like temporary change. Temporary change, or I would say a change in the copy, right? Temporary change or change in the copy. Change in the copy. Let's study the methods one by one. The first method which we are studying is like to uppercase, right? To uppercase is the method which is present with us. Let's see what it does. I'll simply go towards my coding part. I'll say s dot to. I'll get the suggestion to uppercase, right? I'll simply use to uppercase and I'll give it a like that parenthesis, and I'll simply do it this way. And I have one more thing in my okay, I'll not do it right now. I've just used these two lines. If I'll go back to my console and if I'll do the inspect stuff, then I'll go to my console. What I want to do is I'll give it S, right? Name of my variable was S. Let me press enter. Why is it not defined? That S is equal to Nagarro. That's not the case. I need to console it log as well, right? Just a second now. Console.log. To uppercase के spelling सही है. Console.log is also right. Why is it showing as well? Let S is equal to Nagarro is there, then why is it not showing? Even if I'll.
Sir, your JavaScript file is not added in that.
Okay, again. See, I got it. Thank you. I told you that the most like basic mistake is like not adding your style sheets as well as your different files which you are using, and that's why I was like confused that why is it happening? Like I have written it right, and that's why also right. So let's do one thing. Let's make it back to normal. Right. I'll be going here. If I'll go this, I'll be simply adding S. Then Again, it is not showing me why methods in string. अब मैंने क्या गलती कर दिया? App.js is there, script is there, index.html, app.js, this and same stuff. Log in the page
So
again.
console.log.
नहीं, console अभी कर नहीं रहा. Console कर नहीं रहा मैं अभी ना, क्योंकि मैंने console के बारे में बताया नहीं. आ गया, okay, right. Let's go again. See, if I've simply give it a declared a variable s with a value, then yes, I'm getting it as a result of s, right? Again, if you see, the Nagarro is coming. But now, if I want to change it to upper string, right? What will happen? Let's see. If I'll change it to upper string, then also it is not showing any kind of change. It is saying not defined. Why? Because you need to either assign it to some value or log it at the same time. What I'll do is I'll simply assign it with some value. I'll say let s2 is equal to this, right? Let h2 is equal to this. I'll save it and I'll check it in my bucket s2. Then it is showing me Nagarro with the capital letters, all the capital letters. How? Because I've done this method that to uppercase. Okay. That instead of saving the things in different buckets, what we have is we have something which is called console.log, like console.log. This basically let's divide it into two things, console.log. This console is that go to my console, right? It will simply say that go to my console. This is my console, right? Simply go to my console and log. Log it's basically like print. Simply print the values. Right now, just understand this way that console.log means that if you need to you do cout in C++, right? Cout in C++ and system.print.ln in your system.print.ln. It's a big thing. I want to write it entirely in your Java, right? So this is the same thing which we do. We just simply write console.log that go towards my console window and simply print the values which I'm asking you to print, right? So rather than saving it again with other variable, I'll simply what I can do is I'll comment this up. I'll go to this. I write console.log. This is how I write my cout. Cout in the sense my printing function. This is how I write my printing function, and then I'll simply go for s.to uppercase, and this is the method. So I'll be writing it as a inside my parenthesis. If I'll go, then see automatically it is coming. If I'll save it again, then again automatically it is coming with my console window that Nagarro is capitalized now. Okay, so this is basically to uppercase. Now, if I'll just simply check it out for my s, let's see, is it a destructive method or a non-destructive method? Then no, the Nagarro is turning back itself towards the normal string which we initially declared it, right? So this to uppercase is a non-destructive method. It is not hampering it permanently. It is not making it change permanently. It is just creating a copy of it and then it is showing the output, right? So this is about, I would say, to uppercase, which is a non-destructive method, right? Non-destructive method. And similarly, like to uppercase, we have to lowercase, to uppercase, to lowercase, right? So what I can do now is if I give it an alternate of like this, right? It is not even a mixture of a fully capitalized or a fully small digits, right? If I'll see, and if I'll copy it right way, to uppercase and to lowercase, right? Let's see what happens in this case, right? Then the Nagarro is turning out to be entirely capitalized and entirely small in the cases of this s as a string, and of course these both are non-destructive methods. As we know, they are not destructive. That's why if I'll simply go to the string again, then the string is showing me that alternate of capital and small letters, right? So these both are non-destructive methods, right? So one more method which we are having here is trim. Let me make it here as well, right? To uppercase, to lowercase. One more I'm having. Just a second. I'm having trim. This is TRIM. Yeah. Tell.
So, like in Java, whenever we create, make some changes to the strings, and the strings are immutable, so a copy of string is created always. So,
Yeah.
do we follow the same stack and heap paradigm in JavaScript as well?
See, basically you can hamper the string, right? There is not something like you cannot change the string. Like let's assume I am doing one thing, I'm going to my console. Let me just clear the stuff. Okay. Say me anything like say let say is equal to my name of the bucket. I'll say me anything. I can change my value, right? Say me anything, I can change my value. I've given this a variable like this, and then let's say if I want to say, okay, now I want to change my say. Let's my say is equal to I have changed now. Don't like ignore the things if I'm writing it wrong. I have changed now. You can use me the way you want, right? I'll do it this way. Now, if I go with my say, then my say has been changed now. The earlier value was say me a value, say mean anything. I can change my value, right? But now I have given it some other values and I have basically provided it with a different value, which is possible in the case of let. Of course, construct, so we know it is not possible. So that's why I've declared it with let. I don't know about Java much, but in JavaScript, you can do it. Yeah. Okay. So that's something else. Yeah.
So what happens in Java that whenever we if I there's a string called ABCD, if I do a concatenation of the E character, so
Right.
a whole new string sometimes is created. Like the strings are immutable, so you create a new copy of the string. So same things happen in JavaScript also.
So you're saying if I'll concatenate the strings, okay, let us come to the topic first, right? Let's say string is equal to ABC first, right? You want to say this, and if I'll just say string is equal to ABC plus, you're saying that you will be adding, sorry, this string plus you'll be adding one
str is
more
equal to str plus E character. So then what happens is
E
in Java we
character.
create a whole new string.
Okay, so you want to check that this str is like inclusive of it. Yes, of course, it is like inclusive of all the things because you've changed it, right? You've concatenated it.
Okay, so it's using a repetitive amount of memory every time we create make a alter.
No, this is like once it is declared, this string is not being not creating the copy because if it would have created the copy, then the original string would have not have changed, right? So like if you don't want to save it with string, like let's say I want to save it now f with str2, right? So of course this str2 will give me abcdef, but this str will automatically give me abcde, abc and e, right? This depends on where you are saving it. It is not creating a copy. If you're saving it in the same string, if you're using the same variable, then the value of it is changing. If you're not saving it there, then why will it change?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Got it? You're
Yes,
using the same variable, right? So you are assigning the variable. Again, you can change the value in that case. You're changing the value, which is possible in this case. Okay, so we were on trim, I guess. Yeah, we were on trim, or have we just discussed trim? I guess I've not discussed trim. Okay, so let's do one thing. I am creating a variable. That's my sub, any random name, and I'm giving it a like I would say I'm giving it spaces here. I'm giving infinite number of spaces. I don't know how many spaces I've given. I'll write Samarth, and I'm giving spaces again, right? And this is how my string will work now. If I'll go and tap Sam, then it is giving me the answer with spaces, which is looking really, really pathetic, right? So in order to remove these spaces, what we have is we have a trim method, right? We have a trim method. I'll simply trim my sap, then all the spaces which were present before and after my like content, my value, they'll be trimmed. Let's assume I can make another variable. I'll say that rather than making variable, let's do one thing. Samarth only, right? We have this sap, right? Okay, let's make it another variable. No issues with that. Making let top is equal to Samarth, right? Oh, Samarth has to be double inverted, right? Let saw is equal to Samarth, and if I use saw dot trim, then simple. I didn't give any of the like extra buckets here, right? So if you see that there is no change between saw and saw dot trim. So what actually the functionality of trim is like let's assume you are declaring a variable like by any ABC variable, doesn't matter, and you are saying Samarth, yeah, Sam, Nagarro, uh, I'll say let's you are having like coding blocks. Then you are giving few more spaces, and these are also extra spaces. These are also extra spaces. These are small spaces like 2, 3, 4. Anything can be possible. These are necessary and these are not necessary, right? So what it does, it basically removes the all the unnecessary spaces from the starting and the end, and it will give you the string without extra spaces, I would say, right? Let's make it another way. Let sk is equal to blah blah blah, giving any spaces. Summer Nagarro coding blocks, like coding, KS, and I'm giving spaces again. Let's do one thing. Let's make more spaces inside this Nagarro part, right? Let's do this. Now, if I'll go for SK is showing me this answer, of course. Now, if I'll go for sk.trim, now, then the spaces which will be outside, like in the front and in the end of the string, they'll be hampered, not the one which will be like inside, because of course that compiler knows that okay, these must be necessary. That's why you're given them like within it, right? So this trim function is also non-destructive method. How? Because if I simply check for SK, then the original string is not being hampered, right? So let's copy it from here. Copy from here. Paste it this way. I think I need to comment this up. I need to comment this up for trim. Okay, so we got to know about trim. Let's go for a few more methods, right? Few more methods. Let's try to do for substring like. Cool. I'll do it this way. Where is my console? Right. I'm removing this console.log. It is showing me every time, right? I'm just commenting it down. I just have a string name as, let's make it a little bigger string. Nagarro Nagarro internship. Right? Nagarro internship. Right. So if I go with my S, then yes, I'm getting S as my Nagarro internship. Now what I have is I have one more method that sub str inside my function, right? Sub str. What this sub str does, let's do one thing. I'll give it a like just normal function, and it is showing me all the like characters as it is same by same, right? But what if I give it some parameters from it, right? Let's see what happens. It gave me the entire string from the second index, right? What this second index is, let's see it this way. Let's assume I'm having a string like this. Arrow, a space. Let's assume one space. INTERNSHIP. Internship. This is what my string basically is. Name of my string is S. Right. So this basically is my 0th index. Of course, this is like clear that our array stuff starts with 0th indexing. So similarly, the one parameter which we gave, let's assume in our case we gave 2, right? We gave 2, right? Then this will be the first starting index from wherein you want your string to be printed. So you will simply write sub str from the point you want to show your string towards the end, right? Towards your end. But let's assume you also have a limit to show, like you don't want the entire string to be visible there. Then you will simply give one more parameter, and then this parameter is basically the length of how much length you want to show in your string. Like let's see it here as well. So is it my destructive method and non-destructive method? Let's see. Let's go and check for S again. Again, this is my non-destructive method. So again, I'll go for sub str, and I'll give it a value of 2. I want it to start from 2, but now I just want it to like show me total 5 length. That length to be just 5 from the starting index which I've given. Let's assume not 5, it is having 7, right? So yes, I'm getting this second index starting with from second index. 0 is N, first is A, third, that is my second index is G. From GARRO till 7 digits are there, out of which this white spaces are also like included in it, right? So this is basically about sub str, and you can like go to sub str method MDN. Everything is available in MDN. So substring consists sub str is the prototype one, right? right? So here you will be like giving the example expected output like 1 it should start from O and 2 is the length. So O and Z will be shown to you guys. So this is how you can like try different cases. But this sub str is basically like deprecated now. Like this is not in use. This is not a good practice to use now. So instead of that, we have one more method with us. Like we have many methods, but just which is like having some similar functionality to something similar functionality to it, right? So we generally have our substring, right? So let me first copy this from document, right? I'll just copy and paste it this way. Why I close this? Sub str. Now it will become substring. Let's see what this substring do. Simply go to our inspect. We have our console window. I'll check for S. S is there with me. Now I'll go with my substring thing, like substring. Okay, if I'll go with simply substring, let's see what happens. It shows me entirely the string which is there. Okay. Now let me do one thing. Let me again give it a parameter of 2. Again, it is showing me the same way, and like starting from the second index, and it is showing me towards all the length which is being like yet to, I would say, yet to move upon, like the entire length of the string, right? Okay. Now, what if I give it one more parameter, like I gave it in the earlier case? Let's assume I'm giving it 6. Then it is just showing me 4 characters. Why? Because this 6 in the case of substring is the last index, which is not inclusive. What do I mean by that is, this is the first index, right? This is the first index in the case of a sub str, first index. But in the case of substring, that is substring, I do have something like dot substring. I do have this is my first index only. This is my first index only, right? But this is my last index, not the length. Last index, which is not included. Just make sure of it, which is not included. And what do I mean by that? Just let's see. Starting it from second index, right? Starting it from 0. Okay. Starting it from 2, sorry, G, A, R. This is my 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But 6 is not included. Then it will just show me till RR. See, it's G, A, R, R. That is just 4 characters, right? So this 6 is not inclusive. This O is not a part of this substring, right? This is what we basically mean by about our substring part. The only change between them is like this is the length and this is the last index in case of our substring. And so if sub str is no longer used, so try always to use for our substring. Let's see, is it my destructive or non-destructive method? Then again, it is my non-destructive method, right? I have one more function with me, then I can check out for the length. If I go for s dot length of my character, like it is giving me a length of 18. Let's count. Nagarro is having 7. Internship is having like 5 and 5, 10. Plus 1 is that white space which is still present there, right? So 7 plus 1, 8. 8 plus 10 is our total length. Yes, it is showing me the length as well, right? So if I just copy the stuff, I'll paste it substring plus length. Simply release that way, right? Now one thing which comes here is like I can also use my indexing kind of stuff here, right? If I want to encounter my first index, right? Then like 0 index, it's n. First is A, G, G, R, O, right? If my 6th is like 7th is like empty space, right? It's string empty space and whatever it's there, right? But if I go beyond the limit of my length, right? If my length was 18, right? 18th is the length, so the last index will be 17 by because the indexing start from 0, right? It is giving me P. But if I go beyond my length, right, then it is something. It's something is which is undefined, right? So it's again the property of our JavaScript engine that all the indexes which are not a part of your string and you are trying to access them, then it will automatically give it a value of undefined. It will place a special placeholder of undefined there, and you'll be getting undefined rather than getting any kind of error, or rather than showing like you cannot access this value. It will simply give you undefined in that case, right? I hope so. This is clear. hope so this thing is clear, right? Also, let's see one more thing, like if I am using my sub str function, like substring function, let's try it this way, like sub str function, substring function. If I'll give it a indexing of, let's say, 7,2, then what happens is it automatically like replaces the digit, like replaces the position of the digits, right? Is it possible that the index starting index can be 7 and then the ending index has to be 2? It is not practically possible, right? So what this substring do is it automatically interchanges the position and accordingly it evaluates, right? So same happened here. Substring may interchanges the position. Interchanges the position. Right, it interchanges the position there, right? Cool. And what if I gives, like, let's assume some negative value to it. I gave it a -7, right? Then what happens is all the negative values are basically at the end, like it turns out to be 0. Like it starts from the 0th position, right? So this negative stuff is like changed to 0th value. Like any negative number will be changed to 0 value. And if I give both the numbers 0, then of course you will not be getting any of the string by, because the ending index is not inclusive. Both the negative numbers will be turning out to 0. So 0, 0, 0 will be the starting index and 0 will be the last index. But you cannot include the last index, so that's why the string will not show anything, right? So this is how we can do different things. Also, let's study about one or two methods. We also have index of, right? So let's assume this is my string, right? I want to check that at what place, at what index my R is present, or is my R present or not, right? So let's do one thing. I'll simply go for my string dot index of. This is also something which is present with us. I want to check the index of R, right? Let's see what it gives. It gives me 4. How? 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first occurrence which comes towards your string, for like starting from the initial position, and then the first occurrence of the whatever letter you are like encountering. Let's assume you want to encounter for my R and triple R. This triple R is not present anywhere, right? So that's why it is giving me a negative value, that the number, the string which you're trying to find, or the number, or the anything which you're trying to find right now here is not inclusive in this in the string. So that's why it is giving me that -1. Okay, this is not possible. So go for it for the next string, right? So I won't go for like triple R. I'll simply go for double R. And yes, it is giving me the 4th index. Why 4th? Because this double R is present towards the 4th and 5th position, but it is starting from the 4th, right? So it generally returns, it basically returns the last value, not anything else. It basically returns only the first encounter of your occurrence which is there. Like, okay, but now you want that, no, I don't want my first R to be given the value. I want my, let's say, I want the third R. I want to know the in position of my third R. How we can do it? We have basically one more thing, like after how many indexes you want to check this value, right? I'm giving it a single R. I know the first occurrence is at 4, so I'll give it a value of, let's say, after 4. After 4, I want to see, right? If I give it 4, then also it is giving me answer of 4, because this second value is not inclusive of it. Like I told, like the 4 will not be inclusive of it. So now if I want to see the second occurrence, then I'll simply write it, okay, give it 5. Then let's see where is my second time of R is occurring. According to it, my second time of R is occurring at 5. Of course, we can see the second R is just next to the first R. So yes, they are like adjacent to each other. So we can see, but I don't know that what my string is. Doing this is a like wrong practice, or I would say it's not a good practice. So what we basically do is, instead of writing the index that check after how many places or check after how many digits, you simply do this again, like index of let's say R. If I'll do it this way, then let me explain what I am doing. +1. Let me just copy it so that I can explain you guys what am I doing, right? Let me just copy and paste it here. See it very properly from the way I'm telling you. Ignore this stuff. Ignore this stuff. Just look into this and this, right? You know that there is a parenthesis here, right? This is the parenthesis part. So the last thing which is coming after this comma, there is a comma. Hope so you are able to see if I'll remove this. There is a comma after R, right? There is a comma after R. I am making it with red. There is a comma after R. So now you know that this entire thing is one string, is one value. And this one value cannot be inclusive. Cannot be inclusive. Okay, the first point, it cannot be inclusive. Now you are checking for the index of R. The first occurrence of index of R will be at position 4. If I would not have done +1, then the string after the first iteration could be like this. S dot index of, let's assume writing this index of, right? If I would not have entered this +1 here, then this would have been the scene, and this 4 is not inclusive. So therefore, it will again give me the same value only at the first position, that is 4. So there is no need, there is no sense of like doing and finding the same thing again and again if I'm not switching towards the writer side or switching towards the next side of it. So that's why I need to give it a +1 here. Like if I remove it, that's why I'm giving a +1 here, so that this 4, that is the first occurrence which is coming because of this, is not included. How will it not be included? Because the next index of it will be like coming into account into the encounter, so that this fourth position goes away. And now after this first encounter, I want to find for the second one. Again, I'll find for the index which I'm finding for, and then again I'll use make of index of. This is a bit confusing. I know this is a bit confusing, but if you will try to think it the way I'm making you like think, then I guess it is not a difficult task. It's an easy one. +1 because I don't want to repeat the same stuff, and I know this uh, parenthesis will this last will not be like inclusive of, this will be like not be considered a part of it, right? So isko ignore kiya jayega, this digit will be ignored, so the 4 will come again and again and again. So I don't want this to come happen. I want the second occurrence of my IR, so that's why I'm doing it a +1 in this case, so that this 4 as a comma turns out to be 5th after the comma, right? So this is the reason I'm doing it. So similarly, I can also find out for is someone saying something? Just coming back.
Sir, if string consists of letters R, A, R, A, R, then what will be the output?
R. Again, tell me the string, then we'll consider a question, right? Let's assume we are not having anything. My string is R.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now you want to check for which value?
R only.
Oh yeah, just a second. You want to check for the value of R only, right? The first occurrence or the second occurrence? We'll do it anyway, right? Str dot index of, I want to check the index of, let's say I want to check the index of R only, right? This R is present on the first index. The first value is present towards the first index only. That is clear. This is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now I want to check for the second occurrence, right? What I'll do, I can give it a parameter. Instead of writing a number, because I don't know what my string will be actually, then I'll be again making the use of this index of, that is str dot index of what? Index of my R value. But I don't want it to be the first one. I want it to be like skip the first. So that's why I'll be adding my 1. Then see, it is giving me 2. 0, 1, 2. The second occurrence of my R is on the second position, second index. So that's why it is giving me 2. Right now you got like if I just repeat the above step without +1, then it will give me 0 again. And if I'll do with +1, then it will give me the like it will skip that first occurrence because of that +1 unit, because it is not inclusive. That's why we have to give it a +1. So that's why it will ultimately move from first occurrence of the R towards the second occurrence of the R, right? And so on, we can do the chaining and get the answers. Fine.
Answer for the third one.
Again, you
Means
can do the
last.
chaining.
Okay.
You can do the chaining of like inside the string, like index of R, comma, give it +1, like inside here. If I go for, let's say, string dot index of, sorry, index of my presence of, I would say, R, string dot presence of R +1. I'll give it a bracket here. Are my brackets clear? I'm not sure of the brackets. Let's see it this way. Then yes, my brackets were clear and it is giving me the third occurrence. That's how I can give the chaining inside it, right? Got it? Got the method? That y plus 1, that was necessary to understand, and how I can chain towards my number of times it is present, right? It is clear?
Yes sir. सर इसमें तो जैसा हमें पता था कि 3 hours अवेलेबल है, बट
So
अगर कोई
that is
रैंडम
like it. For example, you have a very big string, but you know your demand is you want to go for like fifth string, so you will make the chaining of 5 times. Generally, you won't encounter. You'll never do this stuff, but it is just for understanding purpose. You can chain out in things. You can chain out in your methods, and this is how you can encounter your third occurrence or fourth occurrence, right? We'll like never do it. We just say for okay, is this present or not? That's we just simply see that too is like not necessary, but I'm just telling about the method. So just understand that chaining is possible. How chaining is possible, that we are able to see, and are we able to find the index that okay, is that index like is that thing present? If it's not present, then it will give me -1, and if present, then it will simply return me with the value in it, right? Okay, so
isn't that a bit redundant?
isn't that? Sorry.
A bit redundant, this process, like chaining multiple
Of
times.
course, it is redundant, but like just tell me one thing. Have you ever used this? Okay, is someone coming to you? Okay, tell me the fifth occurrence of R in your computer. Like you can never do this thing. You'll never encounter this stuff. This was just to understand if at the worst case, if things comes and how we can change the methods, how we can uh find out stuff in it and how we can do the chaining of the method. So this was basically to explain that way, right? How we will do it. I know this is a bit confusing, but making you understand the process that y plus 1 was important, or it might occur in some other methods also. So that's why it was important to like make you know about it. It's redundant, no doubt it is redundant, but we can't help things right in this, right? We cannot change the functionality now. We just need to learn how things are made, right? That's all. We have like we'll study one more property, one more method. What is the time? Yeah, we can study one more method. Today we started 10 minutes late, right? Okay, so we can study a method of I would say replace. Uh, let's say you are having a string again, S is there. You want to replace your let's say which number is coming the most, which digit is coming the most. I feel R is being like noticed and coming the most, right? So I want to replace my R with some other character. Okay, I can do it. How I can do it? I'll simply go to my method name as replace. What I want to replace will be my first parameter. I want to replace my R. I want to simply replace my R. And with what value I want to replace it? Let's assume I want to replace it with X. Right. This will be my second, like the second parameter will be the value by which this first parameter will be replaced. Right. So the first occurrence of R was after A, and only once this R is being replaced. This is replaced. But I want all the characters which are inside my string. They need to be replaced, right? So what you'll simply do, you'll use the method of replace all, and again you will do the same thing. You want to replace your R, and how you want to replace it? You want to replace it with X, and simply it will replace all the R's which are present inside your string towards your second parameter which you gave, right? So is it a destructive method? No, it is not a destructive method. All the methods which have been taught till now, like all the string, trim, everything, these all are, I would say, not destructive methods. These are like, they do not change the original string, right? So these all are non-destructive. So I would say it replace and replace all, right? Replace and replace all. Simply commenting it. So the last method for the day we'll be learning about, I would say, repeat. Yeah, I can learn about repeat as well. So again, I have a string S, Nagarro is there. I want this Nagarro to be like, let's assume, come 2-3 times, right? Come 2-3 times. So I'll simply use this S. I'll use a method of repeat. And now I'll give it a parameter that how many times I want to repeat it. Let's say you want to repeat it twice. So this Nagarro internship is coming twice. In a similar way, I want to repeat it 4 times, right? This Nagarro internship will be coming 4 times, one after the another. I know it's not looking good, but this is how you basically like use or make the use of this repeat functionality so that you can. Is anyone asking anything? So this is how basically you can make the use of your repeat method. Is that a destructive method? No, it is not a destructive method. It's a non-destructive method, right? So let's basically end on this thing only, right? Let me just explain small thing about console as well. Right, what our console basically is. This console.log, which we studied, like this was like same as that of cout in C++ and system.print.ln in the case of Java, right? So this basically is an object. Everything inside JavaScript is considered to be a part of an object. Like everything inside JavaScript is an object. So this console.log, which is present with us, like whatever we are using it for printing stuff, this basically is an object, right? This log basically gives an output. This log basically like gives the output, right? So always remember that everything inside JavaScript is an object. So you need to keep that in mind, because in the latest classes or later stages, you'll be encountering you'll be encountering this word again and again, and you'll be like using everything with an object only, right? So just remember in mind that everything is an object in JavaScript, right? So let's do one thing. If you don't want to, no, okay, that's like not necessary. And we have more methods like log. We also have like console.one. We have console.log, console.one, console.dir. I guess there is one more. Log one dir and error. Yeah, we have error, right? We have errors one and dir with us, so you can just check it out in MDN. It's really simple. It almost gives the same results, but you can check it out with your own way. Just go to MDN and read about them. It's like 1 or 2 minutes work, not more than that. And let's say string template literals was done. Important path is there. Okay, cool. So we can end with the discussion for today's topic. This is something which you need to Google or do the MDN, read it. This is a small homework of yours, not a big task. Log I explained about, this is basically used for an object or to produce an output, and this basically is an object, right? So try out these 3 things, and we'll meet in the evening class, right? Cool. I hope so. Things are like little easy and going good till now. We can simply use a loop to get the nth occurrence. Instead of chaining, you can use the loops as well, but you should also know the method of chaining, right? Your like chaining can also be like you can chain different methods together, right? That's why it is also important to know about things, right? Chaining of methods are also possible. Like we can use, for example, I have a string s, right? I want to do it 2 uppercase, so all my Nagarro thing will be 2 uppercase. Now I want to let's say trim. I want to trim my string, and after that, after trimming that, I want to repeat it, right? Let's do it with an example so that you get to know about chaining of your string, right? I have a string Nagarro internship. Let's make another string. Let's not just stick to this. I have a string str is equal to spaces Nagarro ka internship and spaces there, right? Like this is my string. If I go to my string, then okay, I'm getting this. Initial method of mine is to convert it into 2 uppercase, right? I'm converting it to uppercase, right? Now I want that it to be like it to trim. Convert it into uppercase, and then after converting it to uppercase, trim the string. Then let's see what happens. All the extra spaces are removed. All the letters are being like capitalized now. But if I let's assume want to add like find the index of which thing, right? Index of I want to find the index of, let's say I want to find the index of let's say G is present once, right? I'm not going to complication much. I just want to check the presence of G in my code, right? See, it is giving me -1. How is it possible? Index of small g. Just a second now. Index of small. Okay, how is it giving -1, right?
So because we have converted it into the uppercase and it is searching for smaller.
Okay. Now it is searching for the smaller one. Great. Amazing. Now if I've converted the string, right? So I have to change my index according to the capital letter only, right? So this is now converting itself into the capital one. So if I like find for the capital G, so it is giving me the capital G at second index. But if I'll just simply go to my str, and now if I'll find for string dot index of. If I'll find for the index of, then index of what? If I'll find for index of capital G now, then it will not show me anything. It will show me -1. And of course, this small g will also be changed because of this extra spaces which are being like given before the string, right? So this is how you can do the chaining of your strings, right? This is how chaining is also done, and chaining is important, right? Chaining. Chaining is done. I haven't pasted for repeat, right? You can also do the repeat of it right here. String dot repeated twice and show me str. Oh, that is gone, right? I'll just do with string. Right. So I'll simply paste it this way. Right. So these are the basic methods which you have. These are all non-destructive methods and basic ones, right? So let's. Okay, I hope so. Things are clear, and we can end the session now. We can simply use loop instead of it's okay. Yeah, this is done, right? Hope so. Things are clear. And in the evening class, we'll be diving deep into the methods as well as maybe the core of the function. Then we'll be start many functions, right? So we'll see that what all can be covered in the evening class. So do join at that time as well, right? So I guess we can end the session and clear, sir. Yeah, great. Also, things are clear to all of you, and we'll be meeting in the evening as well, right? Cool. I'll be just pushing my code to the GitHub so that you guys can